Know that we're breaking our silence on this situation, and we are absolutely interested in exploring our options to keep professional football here in Oakland. So with no further ado, I'd like to bring up James Quinn, and he will talk a little bit about our strategy and what he's here for.
Thank you, Ray, and good morning, Oakland.
Morning.
We're glad to be here. It seems that it really could be a tragedy if NFL football, and particularly NFL Raider football, were no longer to be here. And we've been asked by the community groups, the business groups, with support from the county and the city, to look into potential options to see what can be done to ensure, both in the short term and in the long term, that there will be NFL football in Oakland, and hopefully Raider NFL football. We're at the beginning of this journey. We are exploring a number of different options. We're learning what the facts are. We know there's a lot of history that have gone into this. I've had experience over the years dealing with the NFL. They are a tough bunch. But when you look at their track record in litigation, it's not particularly good. They usually lose. The reality is that you have a strange situation where a team that's been, particularly now, enormously successful, been here for on and off for half a century or more, in one of the largest markets in the United States, moving to one of the smallest markets in the United States, to a city that is, to say the least, not exactly robust at this stage. Half of the casinos are bankrupt. So it's a strange situation. It's even stranger when you realize that the NFL owners, working together over the last few years, have actually paid themselves by approving various relocations $1.5 billion in so-called relocation fees. It's actually become profitable for the NFL to move teams. There's something seriously wrong with that. It's not the way that you treat fans who have been loyal for 5 or 6 decades. So we're here to look at the different issues, look at different options, see whether we can negotiate some kind of a deal, and we'll look at other legal options. There appears from the little that we've looked at right now, but we have a long way to go, that there may be some legal claims that could be asserted, but at this stage it's too early to get into the details of that. But I assure you that we're going to take a long, hard look and do everything that we can to ensure that, in fact, we can continue to have NFL football, and, as I said, hopefully Raider NFL football. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and that was Jim Quinn. As you guys know, he is the famed litigator that has specifically worked on cases that pertain to NFL football and has represented the Players Association and is the man responsible for free agency in sports. So as far as who is here to help explore these options, our coalition has definitely gone out and retained the best possible support we can get. So that's where we are with that. With that said, now I'll bring up Eric Hostad, and he is from Wells Law Firm out of New York, and he will be the co-counsel with Jim Quinn.
Thank you. Let me first start off by just giving a few additional thank yous, and first to Ray Bobbitt here and Russell Rivera for organizing this press conference and a series of productive meetings that we've had yesterday, today, and will continue to have for the remainder of the day today. Also want to thank Chris Jones of the Forever in Oakland movement for his participation in this cause, Rob Rivera of the Black Hole, as well as the many other community leaders, fan groups, and fans that are here today. I also want to thank the government officials from the City of Oakland, Noel Gallo, and the County of Oakland, Nate Miley. Their support and presence is important to this effort as it starts at its early stages here. This effort, as you heard Jim mention, and you heard Ray mention, is about exploring how to keep professional football in Oakland. The city and county of Oakland have made significant financial investments, real estate purchases, and sacrifices to keep professional football in Oakland for many years. People's livelihoods depend on professional football in Oakland. For many people, it's their source of employment in the local community. And for the loyal fans, the Raiders are part of who they are and their culture. Let's not forget, it was the people of Oakland who named Oakland the Raiders. And when you think about it, right, here we're on the precipice of, a major basketball event here today for the Warriors, but why shouldn't Oakland have professional football, right? It's the 6th largest media market. There's easy transportation and access to the Coliseum site, whether you're coming from the airport or whether you're coming in through the BART system, right? It's a growing area from the technology industry in the Silicon Valley area. So this is a booming area that should be supported and that deserves to have professional football remain here. The Ronnie Lott-led Fortress Investment Group had a privately funded new stadium proposal that seems to have been a viable option, right? And this is no different than the 49ers or the Warriors, who have privately funded new stadium options. It seems to us from the limited amount that we've looked at it so far that should have been given a full and fair opportunity to be considered. And as we understand from Mark Davis, the Raiders are going to be staying in Oakland this year, next year, and potentially for a 3rd year. So there was no reason to rush anything, and we'll be exploring whether there are options to play out here along those lines. But it seems to us that, as Jim pointed out, Mark Davis, the NFL and the owners agreed to tear this team from this local community in return for hundreds of millions of dollars in relocation fees that they just divide amongst themselves, not shared with the players. And at the end of the day, with all these expensive new stadiums, who's going to end up paying for all that? It's going to be the fans. That money has to be recouped somehow. So that's what we're seeing in this early stage, but that's why we're here to work with the city, county officials, including the JPA, as well as local community groups to explore what options are available to keep professional football in Oakland. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric. As I stated, I just wanted to do a follow-up with Eric's expertise and just to give an indication of where we are. He's a very accomplished attorney and specifically in the area of sports law, and the firm in which he is from and represents is also a firm that's one of the top 10 firms in the country. And so, as I stated, this process as we go through it is one that we're taking very seriously, but we're in the exploratory time frame. But we just wanted to thank them for coming out here from New York to join us. So thank you guys so much for making the flight here to join us. So obviously with our group of We Stand with Oakland, we comprise of mostly community groups out of District 5, 6, and 7 from Fruitvale to the San Leandro border. And we are probably the community most impacted by a Raider potential departure. So we've joined together and really talked very in detail and in depth about how we can most effectively try to keep NFL football at that site to create a circumstance for our community where entry-level positions will remain, which is what Eric touched on. But clearly this is one of the first times that the community and community organizations have merged so closely with fan groups. So before I do anything else, I wanted to introduce Grizz Jones from Forever Oakland. And Forever Oakland is one of the primary fan group that has been driving this process. And they are very active and have followed the entire process from start to finish and are probably the most educated about what's occurred. So with that said, I wanted to bring up Grizz Jones.
Good day in Oakland, California today. It's nice and sunny. It's a good day for what we're embarking upon. My name is Grizz Jones with the NFL's leading movement, Forever Oakland, and doing everything we can to keep our Oakland Raiders in Oakland. And just quickly, for us, we've been investigating ourselves, looking into what transpired since Monday, March 27th, 2017. On that day, myself and my lovely Monica Lynn, we were at the NFL owners meeting in Arizona. And we spoke with Joseph Fonzie of Channel 2, and we spoke with Laura Anthony of Channel 7, and they asked us what our thoughts were if the NFL thought about even allowing the Oakland Raiders to relocate. And we thought the thought of that to us is a crime. And so ever since that vote went down, what we did is we started our own investigation. We started working with We Stand With Oakland, Ray Bobbitt, and we started having meetings. We had a meeting with the NFL official. We had a gathering with Mark Davis. We spoke with the mayor. We spoke with certain municipalities. And we decided, in the course of our investigation, being the NFL's lead movement, we needed to hire and retain the best of the best out of New York. These two gentlemen are here to assist us with our continued exploring our options for what's best for the greatest culture of people and fans worldwide that comprises of Oakland, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, Dublin, Cache Valley, Alameda, Berkeley, all in Northern California, the Alameda-Cali region. Oakland is the heart of Northern California. And anywhere around the world, when you think of Oakland, you think of Raiders, and when you think of Raiders, you think of Oakland. And the reason is, in 1960, when the AFL at the time had their 8th team that was supposed to go to Minnesota and ended up in Oakland, and our name for a day or two was the Oakland Seniors. If your grandparents who taught you the history of the Oakland Raiders have told you, and the local citizens through a radio contest here decided to name our team the Oakland Raiders. It represents the East Bay Waters, it represents the Merchant Marines, it represents the pirate mentality, and it represents the hard-working blue-collar folks that our grandparents and our parents led the way, because this is more than football to us, this is a way of life. That Oakland Coliseum over there is more than a building, it's a church. That's our religion on Black Sunday, and that church has been selling out through some of the hardest years with different coaches, different players, and I'll just go as far back on Thursday, November 20th, 2014, when we were 0-10. Who was at that game when it was raining, we're sold out, and our good friend Lupo helped the Forever Oakland movement kick off these Stay in Oakland signs, and we won against Kansas City. Who was there?
I was there. Yeah, right here.
We were sold out, 0-10. So for us to continue to build, get to 12-4, and a mindset of a group of people saying it's okay for this identity to lead this community is completely and absolutely incorrect. So in continuation of our investigation and exploring the best thing for our greatest culture of fans, we have retained Jim Quinn, Eric Hostad in New York to assist us. So with that said, along this process, we wanted to make sure that we reached out to all these community groups, to our municipalities, to have everyone jump on board with this community-driven action we're taking. So in lieu of that, I would like to call up Council Member Noel Gallo. He's going to share his thoughts about how the city represents, and we want to give Noel a hand because he was very instrumental in setting up this whole courtyard and making sure everything is reality today. Here you go, Noel.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, welcome to this beautiful city we know as Oakland, California. This is the home of your Golden State Warriors. This is the home of your Oakland A's. And this is the home of our Oakland Raiders. I am here today to honor and respect the citizens of Oakland, because this is a citizen-driven initiative, and my neighbors have told me, Mr. Gallo, we elected you, we want you to do everything possible, look for all options, explore all ways that we can keep the Oakland Raiders here in Oakland, and if not, maintain a professional team here in Oakland. So I'm here to support all efforts, and I'm grateful to our neighbors, citizens, for leading this charge, and I'm with you all the way, and I thank you, and let's go Raiders, let's go Oakland. Thank you.
Thank you, Noel. And along with Noel Gallo, we have Chairman of the JPA and Alameda County Board Supervisor, Nate Miley. Come on up here, Nate.
So good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here. I want to initially thank Grizz and Ray and everyone, the fans, for coming together. As Noel pointed out, this is a citizen-driven initiative, and I'm really pleased to be a part of this in my role as a county supervisor and the chair of the Joint Powers Authority that oversees the operation of the arena and the Coliseum. And I'm proud to have represented this community for nearly 30 years. 10 years as a city council member here in this city hall, and then the past 17 years as a county supervisor. I represent Montclair, East Oakland, and other portions of Oakland. And then my district goes all the way out to Pleasanton as well. And I know we fought hard to get the Raiders to come back here in the 90s. I was a part of that effort. And we've worked hard to keep the Raiders here in Oakland. The fact that the Raiders and the NFL have made a decision to go to Las Vegas, and as Ray said, we're keeping this positive, and this is an exploratory effort. But you know, I just think the NFL, it's all about greed. It's all about greed. It's not about loyalty. It's not about pride. It's not about the fact that the identity of this team and its name are here in Oakland. And so the County Board of Supervisors has not taken a position on this. I'm here as a county supervisor and the chair of the JPA to lend my support to this endeavor, to lend my support to this exploratory effort, and then to talk with my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors to see if we can get the county on board to be a participant in this citizen-driven initiative that's all about football, 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 and as my friend Noel pointed out, sports, keeping sports in this great city. And one other thing I just want to say, you know, I live in Oakland, I vote in Oakland, I pay taxes in Oakland. And I'm just really proud that the fans went about this in a methodical, logical, respectful, intelligent manner. Because once again, that demonstrates the seriousness of this effort that's citizen-driven around professional football in this city. So I want to thank all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just obviously, again, we want to thank Councilman Noel Gallo and Supervisor Nate Miley for getting behind this fan and community-driven process. Truly, this is an organic grassroots effort. And as I said earlier, we decided that we weren't going to go out and burn our own jerseys because we love the Raiders. And we wouldn't ever burn our jerseys because we love the team, we love the name, and this is not about that. This is about our heritage and our culture. And at the end of the day, we are very proud of our public officials for not giving away public funds to build a stadium. We need a lot of things in this city. We need a lot of things in this city. We need education. We need services. And all of the other teams have privately financed stadiums. So we are supportive. We are behind every elected official that's ever worked on this process. This is a unified message. We are not here to criticize our elected officials because we believe that all of them have had our best interests at heart as it relates to looking out for this community. And this can be done privately. It's done all over the country privately. And that is one of the elements that we're exploring as it relates to the potential for keeping football here in Oakland. So I just wanted to say that. In addition to that, one more person I wanted to introduce to say a few words is the president of the Black Hole Fan Club, and that's Rob Rivera.
Ray, thank you very much for being a huge part of what could potentially be a historic moment. Jim, Eric, thank you so very much for coming out. Grizz, everything that you do, thank you. Nate and Noel, thank you for standing behind this. The love for the team, you know, the love for community, the love just for a lot of passions in our lives kind of, you know, drives our daily decisions quite often. You know, when I was a young kid and the Raiders announced that they were going to leave the first time, I remember crying like a baby. And when they decided that they were coming back, I remember now I was driving and a lot older, and I remember stopping at a red light. It turned green, and I heard on the radio that the announcement is the team's coming back to Oakland. And I stopped there as the light was green, crying again, but this time with happy tears. What happened at that moment, a few friends and myself got together and we started this thing. You know, we used to see the dog pound in Cleveland, and it's ironic that we kind of started the Black Hole similar to what the dog pound was doing in Cleveland, but we wanted to have a little bit more bite. You know, dog pound on rabies, I guess you could say. And as this thing kind of evolved and grown, we always envisioned fans are all around the stadium wearing black and just being ferocious to the visiting team, but in a positive way, and just supporting our team. And throughout those times, as the years went on, something funny happened, which was we started to have children of our own. And as we started to have children of our own, and I'd like to bring my daughter Naomi up here, actually, if you're here. What started is we started to teach our kids, I'm talking about all Raider fans that had children as this team came back for the second time. We started to teach our kids the loyalty of being a Raider fan and the loyalty of sticking with something that you truly believe in. And when that vote came down on that dreadful day, I felt like I got shot, because it hurt so bad knowing that the loyalty that we try to teach our kids to stand behind something was ripped away from us, and the loyalty wasn't returned. And there's a lot of factors that go into that, but the bottom line is Oakland has soul, man. This area has soul. These fans, all the Raider fans in the East Bay and beyond, has a great deal of soul. And we love Oakland Raider football, and we want to see football remain in Oakland. So these exploratory options, whatever can eventually take place, hopefully it all ends up positively, because I think we've deserved it. All us fans, it's more than just football for us. It's a way of life. We now have kids growing into it. It transcends just going out to a game. It's civic pride. It means a lot. It's put this city on the map, and it's done so much more. So we're hoping that other community leaders will come on board, that other businesses will come on board, and we start to get a groundswell of support to where we really, really have a strong voice. So this is just the first day to really say that we're here and we're not going away. And we hope that others kind of join in this fight. So everybody that started this process and has gotten it to where it is now, there's great potential to take it so much further. So thanks to everybody once again. And on behalf of the Black Hole, we 100% stand behind this movement and are going to do everything that we can to support it. So thanks, guys.
So thank you, Rob, from the Black Hole. Obviously, just to touch on Grizz for a minute, I mean, this is a guy who lives, breathes, sleeps this process, and it wouldn't be unusual for you to get a call from boss man of the 66 Mob, Forever Oakland movement, with information. These guys have followed this process so closely that it's unbelievable. And we appreciate all the work that's gone into them going to JPA meetings, to city council meetings, to board of supervisor meetings, being right there so there can be no speculation as it relates to what occurred. They have direct information. We also want to recognize and thank Zenny Abraham for all the information that he's gathered and collected on this situation. There are people who are really committed to this process. So we also wanted to just speak on Rob and the Black Hole. These are the two major fan groups. But we have Rodney from the Knights of the Shield here. We have Chris Fry from Save Oakland Sports. We want to thank Wayne DeBoe from the Oakland Raider Booster Club. And there are several other organizations that are part of this process with us. This community is ready. We're very excited about being visionary. And I just want to say to that the NFL and the Raiders should be happy and complimented that this community would fight for something that belongs to us that we care about. That's right. There shouldn't be seen as a negative thing that we're out here fighting. And we're out here with a strategic plan. We're very serious. We're not hooting and hollering. This is a serious situation for us. And that's how we decided to approach it. We did not decide to approach it in an emotional way. We decided to approach it in a very serious way. And so that's what we're doing. And with our vision, we have hopes of many things, including having a stadium that also has an Oakland Sports and Entertainment Museum that shares the likes of all the incredible people who have come from this community, from Bill Russell to Ricky Henderson to Jason Kidd, to Marshawn Lynch, it goes on and on and on. Tom Hanks, Clint Eastwood, Metallica. We have the Pointer Sisters. I don't think there's ever been a town that's produced this much of a significant impact on sports and entertainment in this country. And it's right for us to maintain something that was born here. And no executive came up with the Oakland Raider Nation. We came up with that as a fan group. The Black Hole was created by a fan group. Forever Oakland was created by a community fan group. This is something that we started, and what started in Oakland stays in Oakland. I'll say it one more time, and I'll use a different play on words. What happened in Oakland stays in Oakland. And I'm here to also tell you that if the Pittsburgh Steelers woke up and on the news they saw that the Steelers were relocating to Orlando, it would not be a happy day in Pittsburgh. Because you can find steel plants in Pittsburgh. And you can even find a Seahawk in Seattle. You can find Dolphins in Miami. You can find Cowboys close to Dallas. It's true that people came out in 1849 looking for gold in San Francisco. But I guarantee you cannot find a Raider in the middle of the desert.
Thank you.
So here we are, standing united, standing to keep football here in Oakland. And we want to thank everybody for coming here. We want to thank everybody for being a part of this movement, being part of this grassroots effort. This was not initiated and started by our public agencies or our public officials, but they're behind us and they're supporting us because we as the community and as the people are deciding to move this forward. So in conclusion, I want to say that Chris Fry Lopez will come up here from Save Oakland Sports, and he will do ceremonial what we always do at the end of every game.
Appreciate that. And I also want to get back to Grizz. Grizz mentioned that Black Sunday for us is like church, and if we go to church, we have to say our prayer. So our prayer is the autumn wind. I'm going to ask everybody who has a hand free. I know most of you folks have cameras or holding signs to put up an O, and we're going to conclude this by saying the autumn wind together. The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. There's a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won. Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Man, I haven't said that in a long time.
Thank you, Chris. So real quickly, we want to do a question and answer. We'd like to get any questions that there are. Obviously, if that's okay, if anybody has any questions, we'd like to facilitate that now. Any questions from anybody? Okay. So, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
You could just ask from there. I'll repeat it.
private citizen. I'm not part of any Raiders fan club, music
Sure.
club or anything, but I'm a very concerned citizen. Bought a bunch of T-shirts.
We do like the T-shirt. Looks good.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out what I can do. What more can I provide to help keep my team where it belongs? Not being hard to stay out forever.
You could
What
go
can
fund me.
individuals do to contribute?
So that's a great point. He was asking, what can private citizens do to join this movement, this community-based movement? And one of the things that we're going to be doing, we're going to be gathering information of the people here who are interested in moving forward. We are setting up GoFundMe. We are setting up a rally committee. We have multiple committees. We have fundraising committees. We have rally committees. And Darlene from Forever Oakland has put together a process in which we'll get your information and you can volunteer on one of those committees.
Right, you say
Go ahead. I'll go ahead and relay it.
Does the Raiders want to go, or do they have a choice? Do they have to go, or do they want to go?
She asked if the Raiders want to go or do they have a choice to go. Clearly, we don't have any control over what that football operation decides to do. That is owned by a private, it is their team, but the name and what we represent in our heritage and our culture is what we're fighting for. So that's, and in addition to that, NFL football is what we're fighting for because we believe that this market is inadequate, not just inadequate, but it's the best, one of the best markets. Our location is one of the best locations. We feel like that is in professional sports, that is a fact. We know that we're the fifth largest media market in the country. And to be quite frank with you, we did not blast this out to have, you know, hundreds of Raider fans come here. We want to be very serious about this situation. And we want to take it very seriously, and we want to be very careful, and we don't want to give any false indications. We're exploring our options, but we want to be methodical and we want to be strategic. And we want to make sure we work in alignment with any circumstance that could exist. This is not a situation where we have a bunch of emotional fans or anything like that. This is anybody who wants to get involved. Our only message is that we stay professional, we stay respectful, and we move forward in a very methodical manner. So, any other questions? Yes. Yes, so there's a fundraising, he asked if there was a fundraising site that we're putting together. And just so you know, this is the first event that we've done. This is the first announcement that we've done. We've done very little fundraising at this point, but we do have a GoFundMe page that's We Stand With Oakland GoFundMe page that just got launched this morning.
Who's paying for the attorneys?
So the attorneys are being paid for by the coalition. So because this is a grassroots, development. It's not coming from any public agency at this point. So what we've done is all these community groups have collectively gathered and put together a situation in which we've gotten the retainer piece. So that's who at this point is We Stand With Oakland. Yes. Is there any similarities to when Cleveland got to keep their name when we were in Oakland? Jim, do you want to answer that, or?
Yeah, there are some similarities. I think that's one of the issues that we're likely to explore going down the road, and that's we have a number of different potential legal claims and issues that we have to explore in that situation. Of course, it was a while ago. It was a different commissioner, so There may be some different issues today, but they were able to, as I think most of you know, retain the name, the colors, and so forth. And they had strong political backing from the Cleveland mayor and their board, and that was an important factor. And the NFL, at least back then, recognized that it was important to have a team in Cleveland. And as part of the deal that was cut, the next, at that time, expansion team went, in fact, to Cleveland. And they were allowed to keep their colors. Art Modell, the owner of the Browns at the time, moved to Baltimore, and they became the Ravens. And so that's something that we would be looking at down the road, and among other things. I hope that helps.
Both you and your colleague brought up that $1 billion showing it's profitable to move teams. Is there a claim in there?
Yeah, you're referring to the relocation fees? Yeah, approximately, I think it was $600 million. The two teams that moved to LA were required to pay. And as of now, although it's not finalized, I think the relocation fee that they're looking for out of Oakland is something on the order of $300 million or $350 million. So that adds up to approximately $1.5 billion. And it's money that is shared by the owners. If you look at that over the last few years, that comes out to about $50 million a team, which, as I said, is a bizarre incentive for owners to actually approve relocations because they make money on it. Yes, sir.
My question is to the NFL. Do they know that this is a community here in Oakland that wants a team? And what's their thoughts of having a team in Alameda County, Oakland, California?
You know, I can't read their mind. I think they're aware, certainly, that Oakland is one of the strongest fan bases in the country, if not the world. But the NFL's history has been to focus more on making money than on making fans happy. And unless you get their attention, and this group is looking to get their attention, they will go merrily along making money. That's what they do.
What's the next step after this?
Well, as I said, we're going to, from a legal standpoint, we're going to continue to explore different options, and we will come back at some period in the next weeks to decide what next steps are appropriate.
Are there any efforts from the county supervisor and the councilman to get people from inside this building and in the county on board to this project?
Well, I'll let them speak to that, but certainly they have been they've been very supportive, and I'm sure they will let their voices known.
Should any of these government entities so support this way, does that change the scope of what's happening here?
Well, certainly having the government entities behind this movement is a significant factor, and one that would be extraordinarily helpful as we go forward.
Is the Ronnie Lott group still involved at all or supportive of this movement?
I think my understanding is that yes, they're still they're waiting in the wings. They would still love to do the deal that was what they originally put together. One that, as Eric Hockstead said, was a very viable deal that, for reasons that I guess we're going to have to explore, Mark Davis and the current ownership of the Raiders turned down.
I got one other question.
Yes, sir.
Just come to my mind. You know, we're speaking about the NFL and the owners. How many African American owned teams are there in the NFL?
None.
What? Are you serious?
None. There's no African American ownership in the NFL. The hope would be that maybe someday that you get Ronnie Lott or one of the other prominent African Americans would come in and buy a team.
What's the percentage of the players of African Americans in the NFL?
Probably close to 75%.
Almost 80%.
Wow.
That's different than in other sports where, take the NBA, where like Jordan.
Yeah, you do have African American ownership in basketball, in at least 3 different instances, and the possibility that our great Yankee may buy the Florida team, and also Magic with the Dodgers. Yeah.
That is something.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
This is quite a show of force just to say we're exploring our options. You've been around. What's the chance that this thing is going to court, and is this a sign that it is?
We're exploring our options. That's lawyer talk for we'll wait and see.
I like that question.
So again, on the point, thank you. Let's give it up for Jim Quinn.
Thank you.
And just real quick, one of the things that we talked about is the potential there for African-American-led investment group to be a part of this process is one of the things that's potential. Because as you know, the Raiders Stadium is in a predominantly African-American and Latino community. And it would be great to have that be the first. Why not this city? Why not now with the alignment? That would be a great thing. And movements and cultural movements typically come from the Bay Area. And barriers can be broken right here from the Bay Area. And that's where we see our vision. And that is one of the things that we are working to plan on as a part of our ultimate plan of action. So you had one more question?
Has anybody reached out to Tom Hanks or to the predominant people that from Oakland that, we know have a lot of money, have a lot of clout? Somebody has to know him, or somebody has to know somebody that knows him.
Yeah, we do have access to all of the prominent Oakland natives, and we will bring that forward. But today, it was about Jim Quinn and Eric Hofstad. We really did want to keep the focus on them and not even the fan base. We didn't really do a big projection to invite a lot of people because we really want to make sure that this movement is taken very carefully and is done carefully and not overwhelmed by emotion, or because there's a lot of people that are really hurt and they're really upset. And I think that there was a potential suggestion that we weren't worried about it, that, the season tickets are still selling and everything's going along and there's no big outcry by the fans. Well, we're not going to stop going to Raider games because we love the Raiders. And so, and I think there's some confusion there. We love the team. We love the name. It's ours. It's our culture. So, however, our region, we want to make sure that we took a very methodical approach towards this, and we just were smart about it, like we are in the Bay Area. Whenever civic movements occur and cultural movements occur, they're always started with a really good plan, because we won't be able to accomplish anything if we're just sort of, loose cannons running around being upset. So that's the difference in the approach today. So with that said, we want to wrap it up. There will be a media opportunity at 2:15 in conference room 4. You guys can come and you can ask questions directly to Jim Quinn and to Eric Hofstad in regards to further information you'd like to gather.
Thank you.
Well, there's a question for Mr. Gallo and Mr. Miley about what are they going to do when they go back with their colleagues to help drum up more support so that there's a united front from the city, the county, the JPA, and the fans. You got to work together to make this work.
Agreed. And just so you know, they've both facilitated meetings with our core group and and what's really important about this, to make it clear, this is a organic grassroots effort that's coming from the community. This was not initiated by, they didn't come to us. We went to them as representatives of our community, and we said, this is how we feel. We're not going to, we don't want to be in conflict. The Oakland Raider Nation definitely wants the Oakland Raiders here. We want football here in Oakland. We feel like it's a difference between, my dad always told me that it's a difference between when you deserve something and when you earn something. When you deserve something, somebody can decide how much of it they give you. When you've earned something, people can't take that from you, and we've earned the right to have football here by our loyalty and our commitment. So with that said, 2:15 is going to be any additional questions in conference room 4. We have other events that we have to move forward to and other meetings that we need to attend to. But again, we just want to say thank you for everybody for coming out today. Thank you for all of our local media outlets have all come to support this process. Thank you for Sandra Varner, PR and media, for doing the great job she did. Yeah. And one last thing, go Warriors!
Ray?